Welcome to the 30-Second Somm. This is Simon, and today we're going to talk about refreshing gin cocktails. I'm going to use one of my favorite gins, the Uncle Vals Botanical. This is a modern, New World style gin with less juniper than your traditional London dries. It's got lots of really interesting characteristics revolving around that core of juniper and citrus, and it's fantastic for that modern gin drinker who isn't looking for that big bold bite of juniper you'd expect in the dry style. So let's just have some fun with this today. I'm going to be super casual. I love gin and tonics. Who doesn't love gin and tonics? It's one of my go-tos whenever the sun comes out. And I've been having a lot of fun playing with gin and tonics. So I'm going to show you some of the things that I've been doing. So first of all, I try to get fancy with this and drink my gin and tonic out of a really nice Riedel wine glass. I've got some slices of lemon and lime in the glass, as well as I got myself some king cube molds, and I've got 2 big king cubes in there. So in addition to using an outstanding gin, such as the Uncle Vals Botanical, you really got to step up your tonic game. So I've been using Fever Tree. I'm using the lemon today, which I think is delicious. They make many different flavors, and they're all delicious and very different. So you can kind of craft your tonic to your gin as you get geeky with this, right? And nothing makes me think about summer refreshment more than cucumbers. So I've got this fun little tool here. You can find this on any kitchen supply store online or in person, and it's literally just a vegetable peeler on one side and then a little mandolin on the other side, and I'll show you how to use it. You just slide it down, and it makes these beautiful little noodly strips, right? Gorgeous. I'm sure once you get one, you're going to want to use it all the time. Before I put those in, my favorite ingredient, chartreuse. I'm just going to give this just a little splash. Not a lot. Bar spoon's worth. Doesn't need too much. I'm going to give the whole thing a little swirl, and then I'm going to top it off with these beautiful cucumber shavings, right? Isn't that gorgeous? So when your friends come over and you're entertaining them, you know, isn't this a delightful thing to greet them with? Look at how beautiful that is, right? And now the cucumbers are going to sit in the gin and tonic and release their water, and it's going to make the whole drink have this beautiful essence of cucumber to it, and it's going to be super refreshing, right? So you can do all sorts of things. You could take any soft fruit like watermelons, papaya, pineapple, mango, or even just cheat and buy frozen fruit chunks in the freezer aisle of your grocery store, and then add that to it. So some of the combinations I like are pomegranate, orange seeds, and basil leaves together. I think that's delicious. You could also use any combination of like papaya and mint, or how about strawberry, basil, and orange. There's so many fun things you can do with it. Get creative with it. Take what's out of your garden and what you're finding fresh in the market, and create a fun new gin and tonic like this. Now, I didn't invent this idea. There's a strong culture of having elaborate gin and tonics like this in Spain, and they're doing a fantastic job, and that's a great place for you to do some more research. So I'm going to slide this aside. So let's talk about gin sours. So gin sours are super important, and it really is just one of the classic cocktails. There's a ton of videos on there on how to properly use egg whites and how to get that nice creamy foam and emulsification in an egg white cocktail. I'm not going to go over that today. If that's something that you're interested in, absolutely dive in, because it's definitely worthwhile. What I'm going to do is I'm going to show you a simple non-egg white gin sour and some cool riffs that you can do without it, which is super fun. All right, so let's go with that. So first of all, I've got a Collins glass. We're going to make a Tom Collins, and I've got a Champlain Flute because we are going to make a French 75. So in my shaker, I take some ice, and I'm going to take a couple ounces of the gin. I've got that pre-measured over here. It's 2 ounces of that. And then lately, I've really been enjoying 3/4 of an ounce of fresh lemon juice and 3/4 of an ounce of simple syrup. Okay, so I've got my ice, I've got my gin, I've got my lemon, and I've got my syrup. I'm going to give that a shake. Now remember, we shake cocktails to emulsify the citrus in with the spirit and the sugar. When we're just using booze and booze, or booze and sugar or syrup, we're typically just stirring those cocktails. So what I did here, remember, is I did 2 ounces, 3/4, 3/4. If you like it a little less sweet, 2, 1/2, 1/2, or 2, 3/4, 1/2, whatever ratio that it is that you actually like. But I basically made enough to make 2 cocktails today, right? So I'm going to pour half of it in a champagne glass that has been lined with a little fresh blood orange. I used blood orange today because it was fresh in the market and I have a hard time resisting. I'm going to use my ice that I was shaking in for this cocktail. And one more. And now I'm going to top that off with a little bit of soda water. I'm just using the flavored soda water that I keep in my house. Drinking every day. It's absolutely delicious, right? This beautiful drink deserves a nice little garnish. So I'm going to give it just a thin slice of lemon. Keep it simple. All right. So this is the Tom Collins. I started with a gin sour. I topped it off with soda water and a simple garnish. Now I'm going to take some sparkling wine. Specifically, I'm using Prosecco today. You could use whatever you like. I mean, you could use a Brut. If you like things real sweet, you could use a Moscato. The important thing here is to use something bubbly that you think is delicious. And I'm going to top off this drink with Prosecco. Doesn't that look refreshing? So here I've got the Collins and the French 75 based on that one simple recipe of taking gin, citrus, and syrup together and turning it into a couple different drinks. You can play with this combination as much as you want. I mean, one of the fun things to do is to make some cool syrups and then use that syrup for these sours, right? So a good example of that is I love Earl Grey tea. Earl Grey tea is one of my favorites. I always have some Earl Grey tea in my cupboard. Take a couple of bags, make tea. Before it cools off, add the equal amount of sugar of the water that you use. Boom, you've got an Earl Grey syrup. Super easy to do, right? Now I've got an Earl Grey syrup to make cocktails, and an Earl Grey Collins is outstanding. It's such a good drink. All right, so I'm going to slide these over. Now I'm going to make you one of my favorite gin sours. This is something that I make for myself all the time, and I find myself ordering it in cocktail bars as well because it's just outstanding. And I'm going to make you the South Side. So this is a cocktail that legend has it was Al Capone's favorite, and if you wanted to be a bartender in one of his joints, you had to master this drink. And it's absolutely delicious and super easy to make. So my glassware for this is just going to be old school coupe. I'm going to do 2 ounces again of the Uncle Vals. Lime juice. I'm using 3/4 of an ounce of lime juice, 3/4 of an ounce of simple syrup. Again, you want it sweeter, add some more syrup. You want it less sweet, use less. It's not citrusy enough for you, add more or less. Mix up your citruses too. This is traditionally done with the lime, but you can get creative with it too, right? Now I'm gonna take some mint leaves. This is the key secret ingredient. All right. So what I'm gonna do first is I'm gonna crunch them up a little bit in my fingers. I'm gonna rub the glass with it and the stem. That way I'm gonna have lots of that beautiful mint aroma. I'm gonna rip them once and drop them in to the cocktail shaker. I'm gonna give it a really hard shake now. All right, I think I've shook it long enough because it's really cold and it's starting to hurt my hands. So that's a really good indication that I got it where I want it to be. The little bits of mint are absolutely gorgeous in the glass. Yum. And if you like, take another little mint sprig and garnish the glass. Super easy. I hope Mr. Capone would be merciful and enjoy my version of it. Again, you can completely play with this as much as you want. I've had them with pineapple juice instead of lime juice, or half pineapple juice, half lime juice, which is outstanding as well. And there's a million different variations you can use. You could use basil, mix your mint in your basil. I've had them with cilantro. You can just completely play with it as much as you like. I mean, if you did cilantro, you know, you could use a great bottle of tequila, Blanco tequila, like Pasote or whatever it is that you choose, and just give it that flair of that combination of cilantro and the agave, which would be gorgeous together. But again, I hope you enjoyed these. Southside, French 75, Tom Collins, and the super fancy gin and tonic. All right, my friends, I'll see you again soon.